Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert T. Green. I'm the CEO of Pre-Post Game, also known as the Players Rep to educate and empower and protect the athletes' best interests alone. For timestamp purposes, as I said, I got time today. Today is Friday, November the 4th, approximately 2:30 p.m. If you guys want to join in, feel free. First of all, I want to say that I have never seen any sports business TV show, podcast, or radio show in the world. So if anybody knows someone that's doing it, please get them connected with me, as we need to basically address these things in real time. Because if everyone wants to keep screaming DEI, again, we're going to talk about acronyms a little bit because I got time today. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Then let me let you know this right off the bat, since we're talking about business, specifically in sports and how it relates to the trillions of dollars that's made off of athletes' attributes, their efforts, year in, year out at every level, including youth, high school, collegiate, and pros. There's no such thing as equity without knowledge. Trust the facts, not the process. And for as many people as out there that's screaming about who got canceled or calling people geniuses, I tell you how much of a genius they are. They so genius that literally they found a way to get you to continue as a billionaire to give them money, would never contribute $1, one knowledge, one thought process that actually made you $1 in your entire life. That's not genius. That's what being a follower is. So, as I said before, we need to stop counting our IG followers. We need to stop basically talking so much and start to listen about what is really going on and how this works. Because the fact of the matter is, I'm doing this today only because my ears and my eyes and my brain starting to bleed listening to nonsense every single day of the week on every platform, on the platforms such as I Am Athlete, Pivot, First Take, First Things First. Yes, I'm naming all of these people because the reality is none of these things is contributing to the success or the development of the athletes, which every day there's a conversation about. One of the main things that people need to know and understand in all of this is that you cannot be canceled when something belongs to you. So for those that were told by their IG and his followers that Kanye West was worth $6 billion, and based off his attributes or his actions or lack thereof professionally, he the next day was worth in excess of $400 million. No genius loses $5.6 billion overnight. Now, for those that's going to take the mental health approach and says he's bipolar, again, he had $6 billion. Excuses are not acceptable in this matter. When it comes to why we basically stand behind people who literally say things that degrade your own culture or put you in situations where literally now when you speak of why he's being canceled, and then someone posted the other day or spoke about how he was trying to do something pertaining to STEM. So, fact of the matter is, did you forget that he also hired a guy named Antonio Brown as the leader of his Donda Sports and put children and influential young men around that same circle? So, what we know about Kanye West, and like a lot of people, they'll say whatever, however, to get you to continue to get behind them, when the reality is, all they want you to do is to follow them to the end of the world. They're not here to basically elevate you, your culture, our platform. They're there to take everything you got, especially when you can't afford those ugly shoes. Trust the facts, not the process. When you are living paycheck to paycheck and spend your year saving up to get something only to go somewhere, to have someone acknowledge a shoe you got that pays someone else's bills who don't even know who you are, shows how far or how low we've gotten pertaining to our standards and our values of who we are as a people. Harriet Tubman was not here to basically validate her thought process of what she tried to do for people that she didn't even know they were being helped, and neither am I. I got time today. And so for anybody in particular who does not seem to understand, so whether it's Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, Antonio Brown, talking about someone's right, and even when it comes to the media platforms these days, everyone wants to tell you, hey, do reels, do things short. because at the end of the day, that's what's trending. Fact of the matter is, you can't learn nothing in 10 seconds. And that's the whole point. Trust the facts, not the process. So I got time today. So you may not get it and understand it, that's okay, but I have a responsibility to the next generation who indefinitely is going to laugh at all of us, how we conducted ourselves pertaining to business, how we generate trillions off of our efforts and still go broke 80% of the time. In an industry without us, there would not be any industry. Yet, Kyrie, what he said, Kanye, what he said, unacceptable 1,000%. But the fact of the matter is that these guys, including Kevin Durant, so I'm dropping names all day, every day, are so unprofessional about how they conduct themselves and do not realize the platforms that they have, that really the only reason why today's athlete is being paid, whether it's in baseball, basketball, football, or hockey, is for the guys that paid the way before them. So they can make jokes, they can create insults, but the fact for guys in basketball in particular, like a Patrick Ewing or Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, despite how you feel about any of their personal antics, attributes, if it wasn't for their play on the field and going through things without their money, Kyrie Irving wouldn't be getting paid today the way he's getting paid for, because it's business. A business that was here before him and a business that will be here after him. Trust the facts, not the process. And that's what people continue to not understand. You are going to work. If it's basketball, tennis, baseball, a chef, you are going to work. You work for someone in their facility. You wanted to point out, oh, they didn't come at Jeff Bezos like that. I am the CEO pre-post game. If I don't like what the players rep saying, I'm going to look him in the mirror. Oh, but wait, this is mine. I built this. It was hard work. No one gave me anything. I do more than run and jump now. I don't dribble and shoot now. I have to do things that literally go way above and beyond the shooting and running and jumping. The NBA is a corporation, a global corporation. One when they pay you a significant amount of money to play basketball. No, we're not saying shut up and dribble. Understand, read the room. Professional development is real, and too many athletes under this AAU, youth football bonanza, because every parent in the world think they know how they're going to get their kid to the pros based off what their pastor or their local rec guy from the YMCA told you. It don't work that way. As I said, 80% go broke for a reason. That is the reason. And so for those of you out there, and I understand, times are hard. And people offering you money and opportunity, and you take it. So then when you take it, you can't say anything. So essentially what they did, they sports trafficked you and they extorted your kid. You sold your kid in the sports business. Now, it's crazy and amazing to me that in the world we live in today, with all the things that's going on with Jeffrey Epstein and everybody else, you got players that are 18, 19 years old in youth games playing. You got parents letting coaches traffic their kids across the country to play against teams, talking about it's for exposure. To who? You got them in helmets that don't even fit, that's causing brain damage and stunting their growth as children. But yet, what jobs do you want them to get under this DEI model? Let me just tell you what job they're going to get. It's not going to be worth any making 6 or 7 figures. Trust the facts, not the process. But you want to know something else? Because if anybody's watching this video or got an athlete that played in high school or college or the pros, there's no one in this room or outside of this room is going to say that that college degree, that kid, if they got it, is generating revenue off of the game and a job and a career based off the degree making 6 and 7 figures. Yet, we quick to run and push and invest 17, 18 years in something that's going to give you less if you make it, the 1% that make it 2.5%. Now, I can tell all of you guys right now, whether you play sports or not, there's so many things that we do and we know, but we are business people. We are a company. But the fact is, when you know 80% go broke, and athletes, we talk about retirement, and athletes, regardless if they make it to the pros or not, retire faster and more than anybody else on the planet, yet none of these people in this industry is making all this money, is contributing to anything to actually make it better for them, except us. And that is disgusting. Yet, you want to give platforms to guys like Pac-Man Jones, who couldn't stay out of jail, and now promoting his weed company throughout the platform, or a guy in Shannon Crowder who wants to tell us he only showers twice a week and he takes his wife to a nudist colony. We don't need to hear and understand that. It does nothing for me or you. So we just spinning our wheels. There was a statement or a post or a trending topic, which you pay Jay-Z to give you $500,000 to have dinner with him. And the fact that some people were saying they want to have dinner with Jay-Z, do you not understand Rock Nation and all the rappers that rap under Jay-Z and his actual group where they are now? Do you see them doing MTV Cribs from Memphis Bleek's living room? No, you don't. You're not going to. It's too easy. But yet, when you're talking about Kyrie, but you didn't read or you missed it, that Jeff Bezos, you said, why aren't they mad at Jeff Bezos? But just the same Jay-Z, Brooklyn is looking to do a deal possibly to own the Washington Commanders with Jeff Bezos. I ain't mad about it. It's business. Jay-Z has used you guys forever to build his business. I don't drink like that, so I couldn't even tell you. I would never be interested in paying for a bottle of something that I know I said I'm going to spit out. I'm smarter than that. And that's pretty much what this conversation is about. That who we continue to follow as the leaders of this, but the reality is, what are they leading you to? You guys don't like Twitter, Elon Musk? No one's keeping you there. Pick up the phone. This generation, you don't like to respond to things. Well, guess what? Business people call, have discussions, have meetings. We don't do text because it takes too long. Time is money, and we ain't got it for y'all. See, I'm an executive, and this is how it operates and what it looks like. So when you keep basically running to the behind the back or embracing or screaming about employees' rights, I'm the biggest advocate. Are you guys screaming up and down about Dana White and all these fighters that grow up and go to the gym to get their heads beat in, don't have medical insurance, don't have a way to basically have a union to basically get paid equally through all the people that's generating trillions of dollars, again, under that umbrella? And then when these two guys, the Pauls, come out as influencers and get into the space of athletics and entertainment and start beating up on some of your heroes, y'all losing your mind. The same way that those guys who do not have half the athletic ability as some of us that played the game, but took their athletic attributes, connected it to their intellectual property attributes, connected it to their influencer attributes, and made something of themselves. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard, but it can be done. But you know how it's not going to be done? When you spend 3 hours a day watching a guy like Skip Bayless, who they pay all this money to attack LeBron James, the one minority in this generation who you can say, regardless of the fact, no one's perfect, I'm not perfect, but the man goes out and he plays, he takes care of his family, yet you're paying someone millions of dollars and millions of dollars to attack his character every day under the sun. And the only reason why that can happen was because people support that. Which people? I'll let y'all answer that question. Let your Instagram followers tell you the answer to that question. So they say nice guys finish last. And I thought I was a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. But when it comes to business and when it comes to reality, what I started my business to do and what it's about, pre-post game sports business management, transition succession planning, building and developing businesses. For you guys who don't know, who's screaming up and down about what Deion Sanders, that's his name, Deion Sanders is doing at HBCUs. Do you know how many HBCUs have basically had athletes come through their processes throughout the decades and yet tell a kid he's on full scholarship but it happened to be a student loan? But he didn't read the fine print because he trusted the process. He trusted his own. She trusted their own. Because you don't understand in-state and out-of-state tuition. But yet when you're talking about Deion Sanders, when he basically up to 3 years ago, his greatest attribute as a football player, which said, okay, great, now what? I'm a barstool analyst, and I'm calling NFL games, NFL combine situations. And Deion, rightfully so, says, Why am I out here speaking about these guys who could never do what I did on the field? That's what his value was at the point. Then he found out what everybody else is doing. Oh, let me go to youth athletics. Because all of these youth coaches think they are pro coaches. And at the end of the day, when all these parents are giving us all this money to say we're going to get you somewhere, it's too easy. So after 2 years of being a stellar youth football coach with your shades on and your sweats tucked into your pants and your jewelry and your swagger, you found a way to go to HBCU and bring your son with you. So now, once again, we're talking about HBCU. We're talking about diversity, equity, inclusion. We're talking about growing and building things. Is Deion Sanders' son not signed with Tom Brady's situation with NIL? Why didn't he not teach him how to build his own? Since everybody's complaining about who's being canceled, you cannot be canceled when something belongs to you. And no, I'm not calling a 50-year-old man who every time he speaks has to say, hit my music, because that's not a good form of representation and development for the future of athletes. Once again, the man played in the era where 80% go broke. They're only the 1% that made it. But where's the other 99% that made it? They got degrees and diplomas and college educations from the SEC, ACC, Power 5 HBCUs. We know where they are. Some of y'all watching this video right now. We got way too many villains in this industry, but we got a lot more cowards. I can speak the way that I speak because, once again, I'm only talking the truth. It's undebatable. And the things that I've done in this space pertaining to helping people. So we're talking about African-American athletes. There's one university, one, in the history of the whole entire sports under the NCAA. That's in federal court for racism and bullying. And that's for the University of Iowa. Under Kirk Ferentz, Brian Ferentz, and formerly Chris Doyle. So if you don't know that story, Chris Doyle was the highest paid strength coach in college football at $800,000 a year. Brian Ferentz is Kirk Ferentz's son as offense coordinator, can't score 10 points a game for like 10 years. And then Kirk Ferentz, the longest tenured head coach in college athletics, said it was a blind spot when it came to some of the things that many of his athletes over 50 spoke out about pertaining to racism and bullying, including giving them education or trying to supply them with education that's not adequate as their Caucasian counterparts. Trust the facts, not the process. Why haven't you heard about that on I Am Athlete? Why are we hearing about you not taking a shower? Why are we hearing about what you did over here? We don't care. We know 80% of y'all, once that show is over, it's going to be right back where you started. That's why you're on the show in the first place. Trust the facts, not the process. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make dollars and cents. And I can't do that, and we can't do that, and we continue to lower the bar when it comes to really what's happening in the grand scheme of things. You guys don't like Elon Musk. He paid $44 billion to get that. You don't like it? Step off. It's business. I don't agree with the man's politics. I never said that I did. But it's his business. Who am I to tell him how to run his business? We keep saying diversity, equity, inclusion. What have we built? But see, that's the point. That's the point. It's easy to critique something what somebody else done when you put no equity, business, brand, professional, nothing into it. Because then the built-in excuse is that you're holding me back. Every time I use my platform, I educate and empower and protect somebody in something they had no idea. But once again, I'm not going to give it all away because at the end of the day, if you guys still believe basically paying these super agents, which you somehow you don't understand why the 80% go broke using the same people doing the same thing over and over and over again. There's a dictionary term called insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. I'm a high school quarterback. I'm great. I'm talented. I want to be great and successful. Okay, let's look. Where are we going to go to school at? So I can be the best professional athlete I can be at the quarterback position. Why are you going to Ohio State? because they set records and broke records in the Big Ten. So it's so hard and difficult to find out in the history of the program under one particular guy named Urban Meyer that doing things the proper way or the development type of way, you haven't figured that out, that he don't do that yet. Yet he continues to make millions off the backs of the uneducated, unqualified, underrepresented, unprofessionals. What? Nick Saban, your hero. You guys know how many athletes have gone to Alabama and left Alabama with significant injuries? But you had no problem with that, but you had a problem once Tua got hurt in a pro game about what Miami did. Tua's concussion, his injury situation didn't start in Miami. Tua, the projected number 1 overall pick, didn't lose approximately $15 million from Miami. He lost it because he got injured and fell in a draft at Alabama. Trust the facts, not the process. Oh, that's only one time, Mr. Green, one time, Robert. Oh, really? Jameson Williams, this is last year, was the highest rated receiver, they said. Supposed to be the best in the draft. Year before that, Waddle. Year before that, Judy. Blah, 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 blah. Every single one of those dudes that stayed for the hat and the t-shirt lost millions that can never be recouped. But you don't understand that because you don't own nothing. You ain't built nothing. You want the glitz and the glamour. I'm going to give you this, give you that, make you look a certain way. Call me a super agent. I'm going to go to this school and go play for this coach because they said, who's they? You mean the same people that gets paid to say that they're great? Uneducated, unqualified, underrepresented. Just like I talked about Kyrie and Kevin Durant earlier, it's the same thing with football. So for all you guys out there, again, and parents, when I talk to you about our process of actually how we go about representing in business and saving you millions and help you make millions, but maybe because someone trafficked you earlier, you don't want to do that, cool. But the reality is how this is going to end for you is not going to be good because sports is all business, top to bottom. Most people only know about things such as income tax or property tax if they own something. A lot of people don't own something, so it's property tax. But when it comes to the athlete, progressive tax, millionaire tax, job tax, understanding retirement as it comes along, understand your actual insurances, understand what is a 401k, what is not a 401k, what is that. The levels are deep, but yet y'all going to spend 17 years of chasing this professional dream and then wait for 2 weeks before to say, this is my agent. I got time today. Because the future generation of athletes and kids going to look at what I'm saying now and say, that's common. And they're going to laugh at the previous group. So basically, your children is going to laugh at you and us based off of the nonsense and the ignorance we continue to put ourselves in. See, there was no I am athlete and pivot before I started talking about sports business as a whole myself on my own time while I'm building my own business. So when I told you guys pre-post game started NIL, but you're going to realize NIL and student athlete don't even exist because that's the point. I am Robert T. Green, the player's rep. When you allow people in a situation such as collegiate athletics to say, oh, we putting money to get you an NIL, where there are 1,400 National Football League players who made it to the pros as the 1% and don't get any marketing and branding. But you, as a high school and college kid and parent, going to basically say, oh yeah, I gave him money and he's going to get this from marketing. I don't know who your name is. I don't know what you look like. Because they're not telling us. They're telling us about open doors to influencer or compass or everybody else under the sun. They're telling us how money is flowing through. And I'm telling you, when you out of school for participating in these things, they're not cutting you a check when you're gone. So invest in yourself, not the industry. You see the background. I am the player's rep. That is my name. That is my image. That is my likeness. It's called IP, intellectual property. I'm also the group that basically was the first ones to ever do a logo and do a actual name to actually get it trademarked while a student was in a university. And that was in 2017. You didn't know that either. They don't cover these topics on I'm Athlete or First Take or any other of these shows. They want to talk about how many touchdowns somebody's going to score. Sports is not a game. Sports is all business. And the fact of the matter is, once again, when you get a check cut Deshaun Watson, when you get a check cut Kyrie Irving, you are applying for a job. And when they give you that job, you are required to fulfill your obligations in that job. And I don't care if it's in sports. I don't care if you're picking up the trash. I don't care what you're doing. As a minority black man, CEO who built something, who formerly played athletics, there is a standard, and you can't get no lower than that. And the people that's representing you that got no problem with it, that's part of the reason right there. I said 80% go broke. If you want to pay attention to who keeps getting in situations and you keep signing with those guys, as a parent, as an athlete, you are not doing yourself any due diligence. That means you don't know how to interview properly. That means you probably never filled out a resume before. That means you don't know how to basically get the job because you don't do public speaking. You don't do critical thinking. But you college educated. You don't know what a long form and a short form document is. But everybody that basically, because they birthed the child, think they understand sports business. They think they got their best interests in mind. This industry is going to eat you up and spit you out. And that's why I got into it. I didn't ask to come in. People asked me. And as I said before, like anything else in life, when your value is not respected, whether it's monetarily or professionally, you have a choice. I can't make anybody understand what I'm saying, but I have a dynamic skill set in a lot of areas. You see our background, our content is better than yours. If you're looking at it right now, it is. We do brand identity. We do brand development. We create content. A lot of things you see today on TV started here. There was nobody doing cartoons as actual athletic figures before us. There was nobody doing, because everybody now that works out got an actual song behind their training regimen. That started here, 2019. Look at all your files. You can't find yourself working out with music behind it. Nobody's cutting me a royalty check. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to point and get mad at someone else for doing business, but they ain't got to do it when they built it. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and support and look at all these different things that we see consistently over and over and over again. Journalists are not people who just watch somebody every day and then troll public fan bases when their team lose. That's not journalism. Third graders do that. So when y'all keep hiring these people and rotating them around, and then the same people that had the platform and had all these followers, then you talking about, okay, what's next? Can't wait to see what's next, look forward. And all I see is the same people ending up on their couch with an actual circle lamp and sitting there and is doing lives and podcasts right out their living room. They don't own nothing. They didn't build nothing. Therefore, they have nothing. They hope those followers stick around. Because if their followers don't stick around, then they ain't got no sponsorship opportunities. So the moral of the story, before you tell somebody a genius and saying who's canceled and all these other things, understand, look at your circumstances first and ask yourself two questions. What has that person did to elevate my circumstances? Because buying their shoes for $200 when you got rent to pay is not it. Just the facts, not the process. My name is Robert T. Green. I'm the CEO of Pre-Postman to educate and empower, protect the athlete's best interest. For more, check me out at theplayersrep.com. You guys will well be blessed and have a great and safe weekend. Before I go, because we do know Black Panther is coming out for Wakanda Forever. I hear everybody, again, God rest the dead, the young man named Takeoff. I don't even know his real name. That's the sad part about it. But I remember when T'Challa passed away. There was a lot of conversations about his situation. And it came to be found that that man did not have an estate plan. And people don't even know what estate plan, but like I said before, I'm not even going to give that to you right now because that's what you like. That's a high level, sophisticated compensation. But when you generate a revenue and you have beneficiaries and an untimely passing of someone, that is something that when you're making money like that, you need to basically be prepared for in case of a tragedy, just like happened to Takeoff. Now, again, I heard a lot of people speaking about, what happened to the guy, and it's sad, 1,000%. I heard none of these people on their platforms who's so-called educated, they have all this money talked about, well, his family's going to be all right because he had this in place and this in place and that in place. I'm almost willing to bet, just like most of entertainers and athletes, when it comes to the beneficiary process, it ain't going where you think it's going. More likely it's going back to the state first and foremost. Again, Robert T. Green, CEO, pre-post game. Check me out at thepledgerep.com. Guys, be well, be blessed, and have a great and safe weekend.